thing, Joy, so as you said, you have only 1 hour, so we will maximize the time that you're here. So we hope that.
Yeah, just do the interview with Joy, and then I'll just run the other stuff at the end.
Okay, sure. So while I'm loading the. Okay, are we here now? Because I'm now looking on book page. One moment. Okay. If we are already live. Okay.
Hi, Joy.
Okay, so Brian's coming in as well.
Okay, good day to everyone, and welcome to
There
another
we go.
edition of
Brian.
Black Talk Tuesdays with me, Professor Erna Labara of the University of Physical Education, live from Budapest, Hungary, and currently on leave as the grade school sport officer of the Ateneo de Davao University and head coach of the Ateneo de Davao Track and Field. Also on leave with me is level 3 Australian Track and Field Coaches Coach Andrew Perry. Please bear with me that I don't have my cam because I have some situations on my cam right now, so that's why my profile photo is only there. And also joining us in this forum is Alves of Malaya and Brian Yalong of ABS-CBN Sports. I'm magandang hapon dyan sa Pilipinas, magandang umaga dito sa kabilang panig ng daigdig. And other guests, Remilito Tangkay and our friends on Facebook. So with us today is a special guest, and due to her tight schedule, we are thankful able to be accommodated by one of our Olympic greats in the field of women's marathon. Okay, without further ado, I would like to ask our guest this afternoon on her first greeting, our Olympian, Rio 2016 Olympic marathoner, SEA Games champion, marathon queen, Miss Mary Joy Tabal from Cebu City. Joy,
Hi,
maayong
Coach.
hapon.
Mayong hapon, Coach
Okay,
Ernel.
so
And hi po sa lahat.
okay, thank you. By the way, Andrew, could you start the recording if
Yeah.
possible? Okay, so first, Paul rolling. First question is, of course, kamusta ka diyan at and give us some statement or preview on what things that keep you busy even with the situation due to COVID-19.
At this very moment, Coach, it has been like more than 5 months now that I have been doing like home quarantine, been staying at home for more than 5 months, though it was very challenging for me how to keep up my day to day. But then after 2 months of being locked down, I realized that it won't do any help for me if I just keep on worrying. I keep on overthinking, and like I have to come up with a good plan. Um, I need to come up. I need to be very creative to look for ways na ano yung kaya kong pwedeng gawin sa bahay. And then though limited lang yung space ko, I started off with doing yung mga strengthening workouts kasi wala pa akong treadmill that time. And then, yun nga, focus on leg strengthening, core workouts, and yung mga, kahit yung jumping rope, ginawa ko na din yun. And then, yun, I just have to spend 30 minutes in the morning full stretching, and then adding some 30 to 40 minutes strengthening, and then another one in the afternoon. And then after 2 months, I've got a second-hand treadmill. Yun, parang nabuhayan ako. And then, yun, tinuloy-tuloy ko na. Like every day, I kept on doing running. I do treadmill running, and sometimes I cross-train with a spinning bike, indoor bike. So yun, I still kept up with my fitness, and minake sure ko lang na this entire quarantine, yung goal ko is to stay fit, to be on track, that if ever pwede nang mag-training outdoor, ready yung katawan ko for the second phase of training. Kasi this time, more on the basic ako. So I just have to run like not more than 60 minutes kasi wala pa naman akong competitions. It's more on keeping my body on track lang talaga. And then I'm very grateful because aside from doing indoor exercises, indoor training, I also get to enjoy my baking, and yun nga, I'm very productive this past weeks, past month kasi overwhelming yung support ng baking ko. So parang naging mas mabilis yung oras and araw ko every day kasi aside from training, so meron na din akong pinagkakaabalahan sa kusina. So it's more on balancing my time now at home. So I have all my time here. So nagagawa ko po yung pwede kong gawin at gusto kong gawin dito, and that give me so much joy this past week. So yun.
Okay, thank you, Joy. At least we are glad na okay ka lang diyan dyan sa Cebu. So, okay, next question is to give an idea for our audience and to our listeners, give us the three things that you cherish as an athlete. Yung tatlong bagay na talagang pinaka nagustuhan mo or experience mo bilang atleta.
Siguro, pinaka-highlight sa running career ko, 3 highlights is when I started joining long distance running, and then during the 2013 National Milo Marathon where I get the first national title ng Milo, because after that, it gave me a lot of opportunities like representing the country in an international races like the Paris Marathon, LA, and then I get to compete in Japan and so many other competitions outside na that through National Milo Marathon, madami ako na experience. And yun nga, 2013 National Milo Marathon, aside from giving me the ticket to Paris, I also clocked in the new National Milo Marathon record, which was the 2 hours and 48 minutes. And then after doon, mas na-inspire ako na magpursige sa career ko, na next nito is gusto ko naman mag-represent ng country for national competitions or international competitions like SEA Games, Asian Games. So yun nga, the first highlight was the 2013 National Milo Marathon. And then next nun is yung 2016 where I tried to qualify for the Rio Olympics. And then 2016 was really my year kasi I get to qualify for the Olympics, clocking in the new national record. I mean, the Philippine record talaga, the 2 hours 43, and it gave me the record ticket to Rio Olympics after a disappointing Boston Marathon. So there's a challenge before getting that ticket also. And then pinaka-highlight is when I get to achieve and realize my dream as an athlete, na fulfill ko po yung dream ko to become an Olympian. So yun yung pinaka-highlight talaga sa running career ko. Because all athletes siguro, that's their biggest dream, to become an Olympian. So I get that, I realize that dream. So yun yung parang highlight ko sa running career ko. Yan, Coach.
Okay, so salamat Joy dun sa binanggit mo about dun sa tatlong bagay. So ngayon naman, could you give us the 3 persons that really you look up or yung talagang nag-contribute sa career mo at sa buhay ng atleta at sa life mo as a whole? Yon, yung tatlong tao na talagang sabihin natin na nagbigay ng ng fullness sa athletic career mo as a whole.
Actually, madami akong pwede sanang i-mention kasi I won't get this far without these people, no? But then, siguro I'll start with my father kasi he's been my inspiration since I was young. And then yung yung dream ko, my first dream talaga is to help my father kasi he single-handed us 4 siblings, ganon. And then our life here in Cebu was not that good. And then I didn't imagine na yun, na makakapagtapos kami ng pag-aaral. So he was really my inspiration and he taught me a lot about life. And then, yun, kasi siya yung naging inspiration ko talaga eh. And then, second siguro, si Coach Philip kasi he's been with me since I started my running career and he's the first one who believed in me na may potential ako sa long distance running, and then he's very patient with the program that he did until he molded me to become an Olympian. And then lastly, ang dami eh. Mga major sponsors ko na who's not just a sponsor but also a life mentor na who's been with me siguro for more than 9 years or almost a decade na. They've been observing me since then and then waiting for the perfect time when to really help me. And then they parang andyan na sila sa likod ko when I'm battling with my whatever I'm going, wherever I'm going in my running career. So to mention siguro, kasali na dyan si Sir Jonel Borromeo. Kasi before siya naging major sponsor ko, he has been helping me a lot na without even mentioning it to the media. Before pa, way back, like when he's just a student of Coach Philip, he's been helping us competing and not only just for my running, but outside that, he has been a good mentor and advisor sa ACOA. And then, syempre, ako family, they have andyan talaga sila eh. They've been supporting me in and out. And then, to mention also my 2 other coaches in Japan, Coach Akio Sami and Jiang Brioni, they have been a good, they've added parang isa sila sa mga nagbigay ng magandang recipe sa akin, sa career ko to become where I am now. So they've been helping me reach my dream and realize everything. And then, kasi makikita mo, dapat yung mga coaches mo naniniwala sa'yo. They believed in you. And then, so once they saw the potential in you, then dun mas na-encourage yung athlete eh. Kasi if they thought na pag-iisipin nila na imposible, then ikaw din as an athlete, it would be impossible. But then if they really believe na kaya mo, then yun, you have to go hand in hand with the coaches. So dapat perfect yung partnership ninyo kasi they do the training program and you athlete has to perform and then have to believe in yourself, yung mga ganon. So good partnership with your coach and kasi sila yung parati mong nakakasama sa training. And then now during these trying times, these past 2 years, my partner, my boyfriend also is a very good mentor for me. He's been helping me with like siguro since I already siguro na-reach ko na yung parang highlight ng career ko and when he enters my life, parang ang dami ko ng achievement. But behind that, marami pa akong struggle and he's helping me cope with the brighter side of Mary Joy. So kaya mas nagiging positive ako ngayon. And yun nga, kaya tuloy lang din ang career ko ngayon. And then, even if my 2020 goals and dreams has to take a pause, 2021, I still look forward to 2021 to keep up with my running goals and dreams. Hindi dito nagtatapos lahat. It's just I'm just having a pause and taking time for myself and yon to better prepare me. Perfect din to kasi after a decade of running long distance, parang this is the perfect timing na kailangan ko rin i-recover yung legs ko, yung katawan ko, yung self ko. Parang it's a perfect time for reflection for me, and this is very helpful sa akin as being a long distance runner for 10 years already. So this is really parang it's looking for the brighter side of the current situation we are having now, and it's helping me actually. So I get to think of a better 2021, and to whatever my canceled and postponed races this year, that would fuel me for my 2021 and years to come. So yun, Coach, mahaba-haba explanation.
Okay nga yun kasi para at least maintindihan ng audience natin kung sino yung dapat nating pasalamatan, and to tell us to everyone that of course we must be proud that Joy is product of really of local coaches at grassroots level and others, and also local sponsors mostly who really help on her programs. So it simply explains that talent is everywhere. As long as we have all the existing support and also the existing systems. And of course, yung lagi nating sinasabi, quoting Coach Nolly, yung kultura at yung pagkatao natin ay dapat nating pinahal. Okay, so ito na yung last statement ko before last question ko before I give the floor to our friends from different media platforms. So sa tingin mo, magbigay ka ng at least din tatlo, okay, na sa tingin mo ay dapat nating gawin para ma-improve hindi lang ang marathon pero yung athletics o track and field sa pangkalahatan. Ano sa tingin mo yung tatlong pangarap mo o yung tatlong nais mo para ma-improve or mapaganda pa, mapaayos pa ang kultura ng athletics sa Pilipinas?
Looking into my experience to other looking into the training I had internationally, Coach, kaya siguro mas siguro, hindi naman sa is mas parang advantage yung ibang countries like Japan, and kasi doon ako nagte-training, and sa Italy, is nakikita ko there's a strong organization that is supporting the athletes, parang madaming organization hindi sila dependent to the national government. And madaming nagsusupport na organization, and then they took as an athlete is a profession, like parang nagbo-boost parang yung mga national athletes sa other countries, parang ang high ng standard ng tao sa kanila parang hero talaga yung tingin, parang they look at it like it's a very serious profession, a serious career. And then, mas binibigyan sila ng priority, especially sa mga, yung may potential talaga. And then, yun yung parang nilulook forward ng other athletes din So, when they look at na, itong national marathoner natin or national athlete sa athletics is ganito yung achievement niya and is getting plenty of support, then some of the athletes na nagtatry pa lang is nilulook forward na kasi stable siya maganda yung flow ng career na, mas naaalagaan siya. Like mostly in Italy, all national athletes are put into the like automatic, nandun na sila sa nilalagay sila sa Air Force, sa PNP, lahat ng mga national government. So when they get to retire, meron na silang career nag-aantay. But, pero, aside from that, they are given like 10 years of their running career to represent the country. So they get the benefit of being a full-time athlete, and they get the benefit of being a
full-time employee.
Yeah, full-time employee. Yes, but hindi sila pinapakialaman. Mas nakukuha nila yung support from the different organization. And aside from that, yung mga personal, private sponsors nila, mas open sila, Coach. Hindi nila pinapakialaman. If an athlete has this sponsor and willing to support, then mas welcome sila sa ganyan Mas nabibigyan ng support yung athlete when they get to have their personal sponsors and private sponsors. Though, kailangan din nila i-connect kung that product is also helpful for the athlete. Yung mga ganun, but it's the basic, coach. But hindi nila talaga, mas open sila sa ganun yan. Then, given the 10 years of their running career, and after that, evaluate sila if you can still compete after 10 years. And then, okay, mas doon nagbibigay ng when they reach their 10 years, i-evaluate yung mga national athlete nila. And then, doon mas nagpupursige sila to really compete kasi after that, they'll be given another 2 years. And once hindi na sila pwede mag-compete, coach, then that's the time that they have to settle with being a full-time government employee. And then, doon, parang yung suwabe yung flow ng career nila. And mas nakaka-focus talaga sila. And then the target lang siguro ng National Sports Association nila is what is their main competitions of the year and when saan sila magte-training and who are their coach. Kasi sa Italy nakikita ko yung mga national athletes nila, iba-iba yung coaches nila personal coaches You get to choose your coach and then kasi mas madali siya i-blame if ever what's the performance of their athlete. Who's your coach? Then that's the time na evaluate yung athlete and coach kung bakit you failed to your goal for this target competition. And then doon na makikialam yung NSA after i-evaluate kung bakit. And then yun, parang the coaches there are given the opportunity to really focus on their athletes' performance and where to train. Then kung saan sila magte-training, doon sila bibigyan ng support So yun yung parang nakikita ko. And then sa Japan din, they get to choose also their coaches and then saan yung mga training nila. And then meron silang own nutritionist and of different field. Like sa amin sa long distance, iba yung nutritionist namin. Sa sprinters, iba din sa kanila. Iba din sa jumpers, iba sa throwers. So, iba-iba kasi iba yung mga discipline and yung balanced diet namin is different from each event. So, yun. And then we get to have our own physical therapies, yung naglo-look up talaga sa amin while we're training. And every night, ini-evaluate kami doon sa Japan. Like, bakit evaluation of the training we had today, bakit maganda yung performance ng isa, sa'yo hindi. Saan ba kayo nagkulang? You sleep together, same time. Yung mga ganun, coach. So, mga simple bagay, pero it helps to be like a full-time athlete na pag talaga siseryosohin mo, yun, doon magpo-focus ka talaga. And then, open naman sila for other trainees. You can join. But the focus talaga ng mga, kunyari, pag ikaw magpa-prepare ka lang ng Asian Games ka lang. Hindi ka na mag-prepare for other competitions of the year. Like, Asian Games, iba din yung athlete nila for the Olympics, iba din yung athlete nila for international competitions gaya ng mga Tokyo, Boston. Pero sa atin kasi, kukunti lang yung mga atleta natin dito. But it's the perfect time also to really encourage our athletes to really aim higher. Na don't settle to being like a gold medalist to a certain event. Just aim after getting that gold, what would be next for you. And then if it will be difficult for you to be in the national team, we've been there. Don't give up. Like, keep on showing what you can give. Keep because your time and performance won't lie. It will really give a talk. Just let your performance do the talking, and then somehow, somewhere, someone's gonna help you. Because nasa athlete din yan If you're very persigido ka, then actually, marireach mo talaga yung goal mo. So, yun lang. Just be persevere and as the athlete side coach and then be very disciplined and always be humble kasi doon yung parang turn around ng mga athletes when they forgot sino sila dati. So just to stay humble whenever or whatever they achieve in their career. para mas longer yung career nila. Yun.
Yan. Okay, thank you, Joy. So, tama ka doon sa sinabi mo na maganda yung nakita mo yung yung kaibahan at yung kagandahan ng kultura na meron doon sa mga bansa kung saan ka nag-training. Especially yung tungkol sa pagpili ng coach. Sana ma-highlight natin yon, ladies and gentlemen, na ang atleta ang dapat pumipili ng kanyang coach at nakabase talaga sa performance kung sinong nasa roster. Ang sana ma-realize ng ating ng nasa policy natin na sana ma-realize nila yung kaluwagan at yung pagiging accountable ng coach at ng atleta sa performance kung ano man ang kanilang gagawin. Accountability naman yan eh. So I think Joy is getting something. So I guess that is all for me. So now I'm giving phone to our other panelists. So first, Andrew. Then it will be Mr. Bong of Malaya and then Mr. Brian of ABS-CBN Sports for the questions. We still have 30 minutes, so we can maximize the time. Andrew, your turn.
Okay, I'll just get straight to the point with my question. Joy, when we discuss the goals for 2021, a part of the goals for 2021 at the next Southeast Asian Games in Vietnam to regain your SEA Games title from Christine in the marathon?
Yes, that's a good question, Enzo. But we'll start with my, I have like three postponed races for the first quarter of 2020, which will be transferred to 2021. So maybe we'll start off with some competitions on the first quarter of 2021. Then let's see if that will help me earn some points to the Olympics, but we're still gonna join. And then maybe after that first quarter of 2021, if depending on my performance, maybe then we'll focus on the SEA Games. So first quarter, maybe joining more international competitions, which I opted to register this year and then transfer to 2021. Then
Okay.
after that, then we'll focus on the SEA Games.
So in a nutshell, the goals for 2021 are twofold. One is to have a couple of competitions to see if you can still qualify for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. But if that doesn't happen, then the next focus will be to shift to preparing for the 2021 Southeast Asian Games. Okay, that's cool. I'll allow, since we don't have that much time, I'll just pass on to one of the media, either Bong or Brian.
Our order is Bong and then Brian. Okay, Sir Bong of Malaya, your turn for your questions.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Sige. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Sir Bong.
Hi. Kasi I witnessed your marathon sa Southeast Asian Games. And you were coming, alam naman natin, you were coming from a medyo relatively cool climate in Japan then during that time, and even Andrew was there, medyo mainit. Could you, kung considering na yun nga, medyo nag-fade ka because of the conditions, could you have done anything better, change your routine or come in earlier kaya? Would have that changed the outcome of the Southeast Asian Games Women's Marathon?
Siguro sir, isa yun sa mga factor, no? Kasi I've trained in colder place, but during the time when I trained also in Japan, it's also hot. But siguro there are factors, sir, na take for granted ko going to SEA Games. Yun nga siguro, better siguro earlier. But then, iba eh. Ang hindi ko lang ma-share kasi I've been meron kasi ako na experience na I've got like minor injury before coming to SEA Games, which is you cannot share it kasi pag your national association will know that you have been struggling with some minor problem, then you won't get the chance to represent. So that's also parang hindi magandang ano kasi but I evaluated myself and I'm ready. But prior to that, I've been experiencing a little bit of healing some.
Tapos na yun. So what was, kumbaga, that's water under the bridge, history na yun. At that time, ano nangyari anong injury yun na medyo nakapag-hinder sa'yo from going all out?
Ankle injury, sir. That was ankle injury.
Left or
yes.
Right? Left?
Ankle. Right.
Alright. So, yung pala yun. Okay.
And then, siguro, meron din mga mental side, like the changes of route.
Bago nga yung route. That's
kasi, coming there, I was given a different route. And then, yun yung parang minaster ko for 4 days there, staying in the NCC. And then, when I get back to Cebu, iba naman yung binigay na ruta sa akin, which I have to test run again when I get back to Clark. And then, prior to the race day, like 2 days before that, I think nagbago ulit yung ruta. And then, other factor siguro is yung start ng race kasi since I was in Japan, I've been emailing and sending my request to really started it earlier kasi it's not really a perfect for marathon to run at 6 a.m. given the weather. Yes, and it will really kasi everyone is aiming to get the gold so expected all athletes will really give their best. So yun nga, hinder yun sa performance namin. So, hindi naman yun nabigyan talaga ng hindi nabigyan ng ano yung request ko. But then, okay lang kasi lahat naman kami tumakbo same time.
And I know this naman kasi, nag-file ng Patafa ng complaint over that time. Kaya lang, yun nga, since for one reason or the other, ang nagsusupervise kasi mga technical delegates So, hindi natuloy. Isa pa, just one or two more questions. You haven't, obviously from your kanina mga sentiments kanina, you're still eyeing to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Kasi as you said, yung best time mo 2:43. And the qualifying time is 2 hours, 29 minutes something. So in what way can you still qualify without, kasi it's medyo mataas talaga ngayon yung standard, 2:29 para sa mga lalaki. What are the other means or the other vehicles that you can qualify for your second Olympics, even without meeting that qualifying time?
So, meron pa two or three other two options, sir, aside from hitting the standard time. The one option is to keep joining accredited races to earn some points through ranking system. So, kailangan mo rin piliin yung mga races na yon na magbibigay sa'yo ng points. And then, other way is to join major marathons, gold label marathons, and to hit the target rank like being on the top 10 on these major marathons, top 5 on gold labels marathon, and it's very difficult to look for these races here in Asia. So you need to really find a way how to compete outside Asia. And yung goal ko lang is to try to compete on the first quarter of 2021, and then let's see if my performance can earn me some points, or if it's very difficult to qualify for the 2021 Olympics, then we'll have to focus on the SEA Games.
A little trivia. Ilang times of mile marathon champion ka na, Joy?
Six times, sir. Six times, sir.
Since 2012, ano?
13.
Since 2013. Tapos, as you said, may Paris ka na,
May
nag-Paris Marathon, nag-Boston Marathon ka na. So,
nag-LA, yun. Madami na din, sir. Sa Canada, gano'n.
how old are you now? How old are you?
31.
Ano pa rin, girlish pa rin eh. Yun naman
Yeah.
ang isa sa mga ano. So, yun lang. So, yung sa ranking, what rank do you need to have to reach sa
Yan yung
ranking?
hindi yan na-specify, sir, eh. But then, I just have to compete on those gold label. Yun yung parang hinahanap ko talaga, gold label marathons. And siguro one major marathon is the Tokyo Marathon next year. Kasi registered sana ako this year eh. So, yun. Maybe if I earn a good rank, so maybe it'll give me more
Anong
bigger
month
points.
gagawin yung Tokyo Marathon?
First week of March.
Okay. You think from now till this time, today is the August 25, tapos March, you have time to work your way into shape for that Tokyo Marathon?
Yes, I have. I guess yes, sir. Kasi this entire quarantine, sir, I just have to keep on track with my weight. I have to really discipline on not to gain so much weight and have to focus on my strength, physical strength, and the basics of training. So when I get back to the second phase of our training, the harder training siguro is ready yung katawan ko, and naging perfect time to, sir, to really heal my mga minor injuries ko, and been really helpful for me
Si
to
Coach
really
Jay pa
keep
rin
up.
ang coach mo? Si Coach
Opo,
Jay.
sir. Opo, sir.
Salamat and God
Thank you,
bless.
sir. Thank you po.
Okay, next next we will have this question. Brian of ABS-CBN Sport. Are you there, Mr. Brian?
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. Hi, Joy. Nice to see you
Hello,
again.
sir. Hi,
So,
sir.
most of the questions kayo na sagot na, no? Pero siguro ito is more on the usual thing I ask. We're in a pandemic right now, so everybody's adapting to a new normal. Tapos how does this affected your training regimen? What adjustments have you made to keep yourself safe? What major?
Ano, sir?
Yung major lang.
Major
lang.
is, binago ko yung goal ko, sir, for this year. For this, siguro, quarantine. Have to focus on yung ginawa ko lang, sir, is to come up with a good habit. Kasi yung motivation nag-iiba-iba siya. So, minsan nasa mood ka, minsan wala. So, you just have to come up with a good habit. Anong oras ka gigising, and what's the first thing you should do every morning. And yun nga, sa akin is have to spend like 30 minutes full stretching, and then come up with, just to warm up myself, sir. And then later on, have to think of either to run on a treadmill, or to do an indoor spinning, or to do strengthening. So yun yung parang naging day-to-day basis ko ngayon. I just have to keep up with my physical health na, and then yung fitness ko rin, na dapat on track ako, looking into my weight, na hindi ako magigain talaga, and then also eating healthy, sir. Yun, importante ngayon. You just have to avoid being sick, and on track dapat. So yun yung parang in-adjust ko ngayon. And just have to be positive every day, sir. Importante is how you keep up, how you show up to your day-to-day life, para maganda yung gising mo the next day. Yeah.
So it's more on the mental aspect, if
Yes,
parang mental preparation mo diyan. So yun nga, sabi mo nga there are a couple of tournaments you have in mind, like the one in March, and then there's the SEA Games. Sa tingin mo will these efforts be, yung mga adjustments mo, enough na kaya to maintain your level of competitive level heading into these tournaments, assuming they do push through?
Ang sa akin lang, sir, is I should be given like 3 months of full training before going into competition. So if ever, sir, this 2020, talagang hindi magbabago yung situation natin with the COVID-19, then that my 2021 will still depend on what ever our situation this 2020. So I can always adjust, sir. So there are some races pa din on the second quarter of the year, but we'll see, sir. Kasi for me, it's more on safety first and health. So
Yeah.
if it's the best, if it's the perfect timing to really let go of some for the betterment of the other, then we'll focus on that. Since SEA Games 2021 will be at the end of November pa naman, 2021. So still have a long time to prepare. Basta sa akin, sir, 3 months siguro to prepare na pwede na ako mag-training outdoor, do track workouts and all. So yun. But if limited time lang before going to a major competition, then siguro I won't risk kasi it will just give me more difficult time to recover after yung mga disappointment siguro or kulang sa time. We'll look into that, sir.
All right. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brian and Mr. Bong Pedralbes of Malayan, also of ABS-CBN Sports. Andrew, thank you. So, shout out ko lang yung ating before her final message. Of course, we will find shout out lang natin yung mga nasa Facebook. Baka may mga tanong sila. One moment. Okay. So from, of course, Rene Herrera, thank you for joining us. Mary Grace Tabal Nakayama, I'm here. Okay, Jean Iburanda Lumpines. Okay, thank you for joining. Ria Ticon, then Willie Piano, tama po. Support talaga mga organization. Okay, Idol si Mary Joy. Marlon, sana makita din nilang potential athletes sa provinces. Catherine K. Santos, hello Ate Mary Joy. Lucy Menes, good PM. Okay, so those are only our shout outs on our Facebook page. Okay, so since we won't take much of your time, so siguro Joy, final message, because of course to our information, of course, Joy is working on her small business, which is shop in online bake shop in Cebu City. So, Joy, your final thoughts before we let you excuse for this afternoon.
Sige. Thank you everyone for having me here today. It's a good chika-chika, coach. And sa akin lang is if you're in Cebu and you'd like to try something good, then try my muffins or visit my Queen Mary's Kitchen. We just turned 2 months, like a few days ago. And then, yun lang. I know 2020, this current situation has taught us a lot of things, and it forced us to slow down and take a pause on something. So this is the perfect time to really focus on the good, focus on yourself, focus on self-improvement, and focus on the things that really makes you happy, that you're in control with. So sa akin, I'm very grateful to really focus, to give more time to myself this time, and more time with my family, more time with my pet, and more time in the kitchen. And also, I truly believe that movement is medicine, and for so many of us, this is the only thing we are so lucky na the ability to move is really a gift. So you just have to keep moving at home. So kahit we're stuck at home, it's still very parang malaki yung achievement mo when you just do something at home. Like wag lang parati na lang tayo nanonood ng TV and nakaupo. Just have to think of something na it will benefit physically and mentally. So yun lang. And there are so many things we don't have control over right now, but there are far more things that are in our control. So let's put all our energy into the things that we're in control. So let's keep up the good work, and let's all keep safe and stay healthy at home. And all the best to everyone. And thank you for joining us this afternoon. Yan lang, Coach.
Okay, thank you. Maraming salamat, Mary Joy Tabal, our SEA Games champion, Milo Marathon Queen, and 2016 Olympic marathoner sa iyong oras ngayong hapong ito. Maraming salamat. And we would like to thank everyone who joined us both on Zoom, on Facebook for this afternoon session. So for our second part, we will have now our weekly roundup, of course, with Andrew. And of course, this we are ending our first part. Again, thank you very much, Mary. Maraming salamat. God bless. And
Thank
mabuhay
you,
po.
Coach.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye,
God
Enzo. Thank
bless.
you.
God
Bye,
bless.
Sir
God bless.
Brian. Sir Bong.
Bye-bye. Sige.
Okay. Yeah, you're excused now.
Sige. Bye.
Ingat. Bye-bye.
Back to the muffins. Back to the muffins.
Okay. We're still on Facebook Live, by the way, people.
Yep.
Andrew, if you like to, if someone can join us for our for our weekly athletics roundup, you can join at your own convenience. But then, of course, if your time is up, then you can be excused at your own convenience. Okay. Okay, we're still live on Facebook.
Yep.
Andrew, so you can do your roundup.
Okay, I just have that spreadsheet. Sorry, the PowerPoint presentation. Probably just skip the first slide because it's like we've already discussed with our guest today. So if you could just run that PowerPoint presentation.
Do you have the file, Andrew?
I'll send it to you again. Hang on with it. So this is just basically a combination of the last 2 weeks because, you know, I didn't end up running a track talk on the weekend because, you know, like I think the PTAFA ran their 4-person presentation. So I felt that, you know, it really wasn't worth me running at that point because there was something else going on at the same time. So, you know, I opted to just save my material for the following week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I sent it to you, the presentation.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Brian Ayalong of ABS-CBN for staying. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, of course, this is our first time that we met. Of course, I would like to
Yeah.
introduce myself. I'm Erna Labara, who's also the colleague of Andrew Perry for Pinoyathletics. And of course, as I mentioned, currently I'm doing my studies for PhD here at the University of Physical Education, Budapest, Hungary. Before my studies here, I was the grade school sport officer of the Ateneo de Davao University and head coach of the basic education track and field team of the same school. Okay, so now I'll start the presentation. Okay. One moment.
Awesome. So we'll just go through some quick news stuff.
Okay, we're starting now.
Awesome. So,
Okay.
yeah, so the first thing is we have now, is this the first slide or this
Yes,
is the second slide?
The second slide, yes.
Yeah, so we just skipped the first one because we've already talked to Mary Joy. And okay, so this is my update on athletic track ovals in the Philippines in 2020. So I basically did this in cooperation with these charts are by Noni Lopez, the science director. So he for the PSC. So these are basically where all the track ovals are in the Philippines. There's 78 of them. So, you know, like the problem is not so much the number of track ovals because pretty much every region has at least one. It's basically the accessibility of these track ovals to the public. But, you know, having this guide, which is down the bottom, pinoyathletics.info, /athletics/track, it basically shows everybody where the track ovals are because, you know, some people are in regions or provinces, they've got no idea where the nearest track oval is. So this guide that I've provided, and it's been updated over the last 9 years, basically shows you where all the track ovals are. It basically has a breakdown of where the national track and field athletes are from, which regions they come from, which provinces they come from, which is at the end of the article. And also it basically has pictures of all the track ovals, and this is just constantly updated. So this is one of our unique resources on Pinoy Athletics, which is not found anywhere else at this time. It's a comprehensive guide of track ovals. Okay, next slide, Una.
Yeah, one more.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, but how many of these tracks are actually used? So, like a lot of track ovals in the Philippines are, as Dr. Meki says, white elephants. They're not, a lot of them are basically not being maintained, not being used. Rubber, like for example, the track oval at Cagayan de Oro, their main track oval, it doesn't have any rubber on it anymore. The rubber's worn off. There's been talks of putting rubber back on it, but until now, no rubber's been put back on that track. The track oval at Dapitan in Zamboanga del Norte, that's just got cracked rubber everywhere. That was where they had a Palarongpa bump, so that's no longer really usable. Some of the track ovals, like the one at Amaranto, that's like basically only half there now, and it's not a standard sized oval. So there's a lot of ovals that are in need of repair.
Actually, buddy, I think the reason why in Amoranto is undersized, so because actually it's a velodrome, so it's used for speed cycling.
Yeah,
So
it was.
if you
Yeah,
if you're going to see Amoranto, it's mixed use as a stadium, and the center is, I think
yeah.
it's a velodrome.
It was
So
listed in the PSC's list of track ovals, though. That's why I felt I would mention it, because there are some track ovals that are included in the list that are substandard. But of course, even with some substandard ovals, you can have a element of some events at substandard ovals. But of course, you can't have the full set of track and field events at a substandard oval to be ratified. But you can still have some events, like some track ovals have field facilities and not sufficient track size, so you can still have some events which can be ratified at certain track ovals and not others.
yes, yes, okay. Also, we must also imply that, of course, having the good track over of our region should be the maintenance is the key. The reason why most of the sports complexes in other sides of the Philippines, even that they built it for the longest time, are they have a well kept maintenance. For example, the Mindanao Civic Center in Tubod, Lanao del Norte, it has been like for almost 20 years, and I must say that their track oval is on a good condition. Although of course there's some
Okay.
faded
Yeah.
marks, but of course still it is not
Yeah.
as like those in Cagayan de Oro where the rubber surface has already been peeled
Yeah.
off. So I think it's
What you
also
need to consider as well when it comes to a track oval, and a good example is what they do in Australia with maintenance of track ovals, depending on the quality of the rubber that's put on the track, and it also depends how the rubber is looked after. For example, if people are riding bicycles on the track, that will destroy the track really quickly. If there's a high number of people using the track, like if there's joggers on the track every day, hundreds and hundreds of people just stamping on the track every day, that will wear out the track quicker. In Australia, what they do is they open the track ovals for a few hours during the day, and the rest of the time the track ovals are closed, and people have to just go and train on a grass track oval during those times. That's how they prolong the life of a track oval in Australia, is they only allow access during certain times of the day to use the track oval. And absolutely no bikes, or anything, bikes or people wearing soccer studs, or rugby boots or anything like that are allowed on the track. That's an automatic ban. You can't, people who like do things that'll wreck the track, like ride bikes or whatever on the track, they get banned. That's an automatic ban. You won't be allowed to set foot on the track again if you do that. That's why, there's like some areas are better at policing that than others with the terms of treating the track oval with respect, and so it doesn't wear out as quickly.
yes, exactly. And I must say that there's another track oval that is, I think, still being built. Okay. Um, Actually, based on ARE Adventures, a travel agency, it's also gone. They're building Balogo Sports Complex in Sorsogon City, and Sorsogon is a coliseum type of structure, and
Yeah.
they're aiming to host the 2023 Palarong Pambansa.
Well,
So that's
on the
another.
Guido now, there's actually about 20 track ovals which are undergoing production at the moment throughout the Philippines. I mean, there's 15 to 20 track ovals being built as we speak. And the guide it has included Sorsogon. There's also one being built off the top of my head. There's another one being built in Occidental Mindoro. There's of course there's a track oval being built at Sarangani, I think.
Yeah, in Sarangani, yes.
There's one in Sarangani. There's another track oval being built up in the Abra region. So there's a lot of there's a lot of construction going on at the moment in various parts of the country. I believe, according to the statistics, all but 34 provinces in the Philippines have a track oval already, a rubberized track oval.
Okay, yes. Yes, buddy, continue.
Yeah. Next slide. Okay, so yeah, this is leftover material from the last session on the pole vault. So Cornelius Warmendam, he held the pole vault record for 17 years. One of our readers, one of our viewers on Pinoyathletics felt that we should mention him. He vaulted over 15 feet 43 times, the first man to clear 15 feet, which was an achievement at the time because they were using the bamboo poles. He had the world record for 17 years. His meet record was finally broken, and world record was finally broken in 1957 by Bob Gutowski using a metal pole. He never got, even though he held the world record for 17 years in the pole vault, he never got to compete in the Olympics because the Olympics was held during the war. By the time the war was over, he was past his playing years by 1948 when the Olympics resumed at London after the war. So we felt we were in the spirit of mentioning pole vault, you know, with EJ going to the Olympics and all. I felt that we pay tribute to a athlete that, you know, like was one of the pioneers when it came to the world record progression in the pole vault. And the guy, I think he was Polish, American athlete. Okay, next slide. So this is again more stuff on the pole vault, but you know there's only going to be 2 slides on the pole vault. So the evolution of the pole vault, we have an article on Pinoyathletics called Pole Vault Evolution, linked down the bottom. So pole vault went from hardwood to bamboo to metal and aluminium to the fiberglass and carbon fibers of today. Okay, next slide. Okay, so yeah, so this is the news I've gotten from the Thailand Athletics Association. They have now started their competitions again. They had their first competition, which was a special triple jump competition. So SEA Games, that was on the 24th, yesterday. Their SEA Games champion in the triple jump, the 22-year-old Parinya Chumarong. She jumped 14 meters, improving on her season's best of 13.68 back in January. Just 17 centimeters off her personal best, which was set 3 years ago. So despite the COVID, you know, national athletes have continued training, and they're jumping, you know, she's jumping close to a PB right now. And then on the men's side, Teparak Parachaya, who was a former silver or bronze medalist at one of the last couple of SEA Games, he jumped the season lead in the men's of 15.95. And the link's down the bottom, that will still be on our front page. So we're just, you know, just updating with Southeast Asian athletics news. Okay, next slide. Okay, so inducted into the Legends of Track and Field. He was already there, but we've made a more comprehensive article building on the article originally by Hurdler 49, Joboy Quintos. Miguel White was the last Filipino to win an Olympic bronze medal in athletics. He won a bronze in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. His mark of 52.8 was the Philippine record for 38 years until Abdul Qadir Gopar broke it in the Tehran Asian Games, which Gopar went on to win in 1973. Yeah, he won the 1973 Asian Championships, and then he broke the record at the Asian Champs. He's the closest Filipino athlete ever to get to a track and field world record. In 1936, he ran 52.8. In 1927, this was comparable to the world record of 52.6, which was set 9 years earlier. So a 9-year differential is the closest any athlete has ever gotten to a world record. I believe that, even Del Prado and Lydia de Vega were around 15, 16, 18 years apart from when their performance was the world record, when they set their times. Miguel White, but before he became the 1936 Olympic bronze medalist, he was also the Far East Asian Games champion in the 400 hurdles. So the Far East Asian Games, what they had before later more countries joined and it later became the Asian Games. The Far East Asian Games was mainly a competition between China, Japan, and the Philippines. Miguel White was a war hero. He was killed in action fighting the Japanese in the Second World War. And details on him and the other legends of track and field can be found on our website with the link below. Next slide now. Okay, so next, big news in the Diamond League at Stockholm. Karsten Warholm is really in a league of his own right now. The Norwegian hurdler has had the performance on the 23rd of August at the Stockholm Wanda Diamond League with 46.87, which is the second fastest hurdles of all time, just 0.05 behind the world record of Kevin Young, set 28 years ago of 46.82. He knocked over, what makes this more surprising is he knocked over that last hurdle, which could have been a world record, but he'll probably pick up, he may even pick up the world record in his next race because he just gets better every time he runs. He's the only man who's ever broken 47 seconds twice with 46.87 and 46.92. So not even the world record holder Kevin Young was able to run two sub 47 second 400 hurdles. He is undefeated this season after he won the Diamond League in Monaco in 47.10. His performance was an area record, a world lead, a Diamond League record, and a meet record. The previous record at the Stockholm Diamond League was by Abdurrahman Samba, set 2 years ago of 47.41. Warholm continues to win his hurdles races by margins of 2 seconds or more. Quite surprisingly, like within an hour, he came back and he won the 400 meters as well in 45.05. Very close to his PB of 44.87 set 3 years ago, but obviously not on as fresh pair of legs as he just run a like the second fastest time ever in the 400 hurdles. Long link below. Again, this will be on our front page. Moving to the next slide. We have some more updates. We have a video first of him running. I'm not sure if this will play. We'll just see how it goes.
I think it's not playing.
Okay, we'll just skip past the video. They can just view that on YouTube. Okay, so that was just going to be a video of Warholm running 46.87, but obviously it might show up quite a bit of bandwidth. Okay, so other notable performances in Stockholm. So after jumping like 560 at his national championships, Duplantis, the world record holder in the men's pole vault, moved 1 centimeter better than he'd done this year to a 601 meter world lead. Also impressive at the Diamond League was the world junior record holder Yulia Mahuchik of Ukraine, who's born in 2001, so still just 18 years of age. She got a world lead of 2 meters in the women's high jump. Also impressive was Angela Del Ponte of Switzerland, who had her 7th win in a row in 11:20, beating world bronze medalist Helou of the Ivory Coast again. Without Noah Lyles at the meet, Adam Gemili of Great Britain went on to win a windy 220.61. However, that wind, looking at that race, the wind was pretty much blowing in their face for the first half of the race. They didn't really benefit until they were quite down the home straight from that. So it was it was a tailwind, but would have been tough at the start, the way the wind was actually curling around. And then the Italian Bogioliolo of Italy won the 100 hurdles in a sub-13 time of 12:88 in the women's 100 hurdles. So all those results and more are up on the Pinoyathletics website. We'll move to the next slide. Okay, so I had mistakenly thought that this was held yesterday after having talks with Bong Petralves of Malaya, but no, it's actually tonight at midnight. So it's, I don't know, 12 p.m.
It should be 6 p.m. 6 p.m. local time, most of here.
6 p.m. Yeah, so it'll be 12 midnight in the Philippines.
Yes, 12 time, because for summer we have 6-hour delay difference
it'll
from
be
the
12 midnight in the Philippines and 2 o'clock in the morning in Australia. But I might stay up and, well, actually I probably won't because I've got work tomorrow. But what I'm saying is, it's going to be a good competition to watch because according to the stats, there's about 20 world-class vaulters there, including Duplantis, who I mentioned before. He'll be competing there. Sam Kendricks will be there. I think Thiago Braz will be there. So EJ will have a lot of very good competition. It'll be like a dress rehearsal for the Olympics almost, because pretty much almost everyone's going to be there. So if we can find a live stream, I'll be putting it up on the website. I'm not sure if how much updates I can do because I've got to get up and go to work tomorrow, so I probably won't be staying up to watch it. But we'll see. Probably when I get up, I'll post something. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so the news as well is allegedly the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, has tested positive for the COVID. After holding some parties and stuff, he's tested positive for COVID, so I think he has to be quarantined. Next slide. Okay, so I've been providing UAP data on the men's 2 and 400. All this data is up on the Pinoyathletics website. Basically, what we've done is we've taken the results of the last 5 UAAPs for each athlete in each event, and we've averaged out the level of improvement or decline for each athlete or each event. So the data clearly shows that Adamson, with 3 athletes who have improved significantly in the subset of data, has had the biggest improvement rate in the men's 200 at UAAP over the last 5 years, but it's probably more likely over the last 2 or 3 years, as there was steady and then rapid improvement the last couple of years. Next slide. So with the other event, we looked at the men's 400 as well. So the other week I did the men's 100, back one, I think. I think you jumped a few slides there. Is that the next slide, or is there another one? Okay, we'll come back to the men's 400. So I've mixed up my slides a bit. So yeah, this is a thing I found. It's an infograph on the other week when Joshua Cheptegei broke the world record in the men's 5,000. These are the times he ran. So if you look at the times he's running evenly on average around 60 seconds. 60 to 60.5. So he's been running very smoothly. That's why when we talk to runners, who are running 3,000 or events, it's very important to ask them, very important to ask athletes, if they want to run, if they're aiming to run a certain time. And I've done, it happened a few years ago when it was a girl, and she said she wanted to get bronze at the Polaro or something like that in the 3,000. And I was like, okay, so what do you need to run? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, you're running about 10:45. And then she's like, okay, I'll run that then. I was like, okay, but what do you need to run each lap? if you divide 10:45 by 7.5 and spread that out evenly, what's at each lap? I don't know. I'm just going to run fast. What happens? Palero rolls around. She runs to the front, cannot pace herself well, goes out to the front for the first 3 laps, tries to stick with the leaders who are much better 400 speed type runners, runs ahead for the first 3 laps of the leaders. Last 4 laps, gets passed by everybody and comes dead last because he hasn't planned out how she's going to distribute her laps, her times per lap, because there was absolutely no planning or strategy involved when it came to that race. It wasn't one of my athletes, but basically I had asked her that question long before the race started. What do you need to run each lap? But she just didn't seem to care about that. Just wanted to go out and just run at the front and then get worn down by everybody in the second half of the race. Okay, next slide. So yeah, this is the data that I was actually got mixed up. It should have been around on the other slide, but yeah, it's just showing that, like in the men's 200, the men's 400, Adamson has a solid program in place. I mean, they've had an average of a 1.87 second improvement per athlete over the last 5 years. So that's not 1.87 seconds. That doesn't mean the athletes are getting 1.87 seconds better each year. That means that they're getting you divide that by 5, and there's just a constant sort of improvement each year of that amount. But with Adamson, the real boost has come over the last 3 years, more to the point when they brought in a new sprint coach. Next slide. So all that data is available on the website. I mean, we're covering every event. Yeah, so now I'm just going into coaching. I've just signed up to finish my level 3 athletics course for sprints and hurdles, part 2, October 24/31. Very good coaching mentor has been made available to me. It wasn't cheap. I had to dish out another $300 to get that course done. But, right now with COVID and all, with having to coach athletes online, this is the opportunity to actually grab and do the finalize myself with the accreditation. Like I said, I don't think, with the costs and, with my experience, I don't think I'll be doing level 4 for another, couple of years, hopefully before I turn 40. But, I'm no rush to do level 4. I just need to gain some, I just need to implement what I've learned in level 3 to the athletes I work with, and then eventually move to level 4 one day. Okay, next slide. So yeah, this is more about the coaching stuff that I've been doing recently. I've been working online with athletes. I haven't been able to really, I've been working with some kids here, but schools, with school programs, but I haven't really gone to the club or anything like that, because it's just been difficult because a lot of them are reluctant because of COVID. Okay, next slide, Ernell. All right, so yeah, those are sprinters in my training group, running 250s. I think I might have, and I didn't show this because we ran out of time the other week. So I lowered the target a little bit for the guys, just to make sure they're running on time. And yeah, they didn't achieve their old targets last week, but I adjusted the targets based on what I felt they were capable of, and they achieved the targets. Yeah, so we're looking at, averages in the round that, and Ronald did really well because he didn't actually finish the session last week, and now he's finished the session. They're averaging under 36 at 80%, which is around a 29, 30-second all-out 200 effort, which gives them a low 23, mid to high 22 type 200-meter time, which is much better than what they were doing prior. Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah, so the sprinters, again, Ronald, he ran 40 yards. He got timed for 40 yards at hand timed, of course, 4.7. So that's around, that's around 11.6. he'd ran 12.3, 12.3 the other year, and but it just with the more that's just one run, but just to be more consistent with timing and the runs, he ran several 40 meters timed by two people at 5.7, which is equivalent, according to the speed calculator, at about 12.3 electronic, but that's 12.3 electronic with a sled versus running 12.3 all out last year with in a race situation. So there is a gain there in terms of the training process. So next week, my guys are going to be testing. They're going to have a run. The two of them are going to have a run over a 60, a 150, and a 300, which is our 8th week training together. And that'll be my testing week to see, how they're going in terms of times, and give them a bit of motivation where they can actually have a mini sort of trial, not really a comp, but just the two of them having a race with whoever else they can get to join in. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so with coaching the athletes, I basically came up with this model. One of the drills that the beginner athletes get wrong are a lot of the skips for distance. And the skips for distance, as you notice in the correct model, the back leg is extended, whereas in the incorrect model, the back leg is kicking back up, which creates more time wasted in the air and less force applied on the ground. So that is one common error we have with teaching beginners. There's about 3 or 4 sets of drills in the sequence which are really difficult for beginners to get. But basically, these stick figures have been presented to show, what form we're actually looking for with with teaching these basic drills. Okay, next slide. All right, so yeah, I had one athlete, and she presented me with this. I was really happy with this. It shows that she follows the instructions well, does the exact pace required. So it was an easy 5K run. She ran it in 31 minutes. Probably could go a little faster, but that was fine. She's used technology, so she's used a sports watch or app on a phone to help her with her training. She's stuck to the program. I told her to run 5K easy. She ran 5.04, which is pretty much 5K, extra 40 meters, but that's no biggie. She doesn't do extra things in the program that are going to get her injured. So, if she didn't go out and run, she went out and ran the 5K at an easy pace in 30 minutes. She didn't go out and run a 5K in, of course she's not going to run 15 minutes, but, she didn't go out and run a 5K in 22 minutes or something like that, which, would have been an all-out effort. Because this wasn't an all-out effort. This was a recovery easy run, which she followed the instructions well and presented, an accurate way of recording it, which I hadn't expected, but, she sort of went that extra mile, which I was very proud of as a coach, that she was taking her training very seriously with using whatever resources she had available. Because I know in the Philippines, a lot of athletes don't have much. They don't have a lot of things that athletes training in other countries may have access to, but it's good to see how some athletes are very keen to innovate with what they have available. Okay, next slide. And I think this is just a bit more on this athlete who's a middle/long distance runner that I'm working with from CDO. Yep. So next slide. Yeah, so with the athlete, this is just another spreadsheet I did. The athlete ran, the other week she ran 3 800s, so I gave her 3 1K runs. I'm going to add a bit more variation to the training next week because I don't want it to get too sort of repetitive. She ran 3:55, 4:10, and 4:12. Target was 4 minutes 30. She achieved her target, and based on her times, her output times are 3:16 if she was using 80%, or 3:28 if she was using 85% effort on the average of those 3 runs, which sort of is in line with her predicted 240-ish times for the 240-ish, 230, 240-ish times for the 800, which with a PB of 254, there will be a bit of a gain, quite quickly with that event. Okay, next slide. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at possibly. I've been asked by Dean Hook if we can do a session on the pitfalls of professionalizing collegiate sports in the Philippines. I'm not going to go too much into the training bubble type issues that are happening at the moment. We've talked quite a bit about it, and we mainly focused on athletics. So this is more to do with varsity basketball. We will look into this issue a little bit more when we have a bit more info from the other group in regards to the other side in regards to this issue. Okay, I think that's it. Or is that all the slides now, or was there any more? Okay, that's it. Okay, so we're all good. Thanks, Ernell, and thanks,
Yes,
Brian.
you're welcome. Yes, okay. Thank you as well. So we end our session this afternoon here.
Yep. Yeah, that's all good for today. So we'll wrap it up. Maybe me and you, Ernell, will have a quick chat after this for about 5 or 10. But
Okay.
yeah, everyone else can head off, and we are appreciative of everybody's time for today.
Yes, and we thank as well Mr. Brian Yalong of ABC Event Sports for joining us up to this session. Thank you, Mr. Brian.
Yes, thank you. Very, very informative as usual, Enzo.
Yes, and keep in touch to us for any updates related to Philippine athletics. This is Pinoy Athletics. Since 2012, we've been providing with online news and views related to the Philippine athletics community. So we would be happy if you can, if we're happy to be guests once in a while in your sessions as well. Just let us know. Okay,
Right.
so we wrap up our session for this afternoon. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat at mabuhay po tayong lahat. God bless. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas, mabuhay ang atletang Pilipino. Salamat po.